Good morning, everyone. Today we will be talking social media. So, today we're going to be talking about thumbnails and how you can use thumbnails to increase the success of your YouTube channel. So, growing, first off, growing a successful following on YouTube and people watching your videos is something that's highly sought after. It's apparently one of the most asked questions of creators. I've watched hundreds of videos from some of the top creators with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers. And if they ever do a advice video, one thing that they constantly admit is that the number one most asked question is, how do I get a successful YouTube channel going? So today we're going to be talking about thumbnails because I think it is probably one of the big things that is very influential towards your channel and your videos. And it's probably one of the simplest things and most common things that I see from successful channels. So as I've mentioned, I've analyzed and dissected and looked at all the videos and all the tiny little things from titling to descriptions to how the video flows and everything else for hundreds of channels. Most of them have millions of subscribers. And I have found that thumbnails are one of those things that is a common thread throughout, for the most part. Generally speaking, the thumbnail for a successful YouTube channel is much, much better than your average thumbnail for an average YouTube creator. They put time into their thumbnails to make them beautiful. Now, there is a certain level of variation. Some people, it's without a doubt very clear that their thumbnails have been very well sculpted. You know that these people have photo editing skills, they have Photoshop skills, all this stuff. Especially with the beauty gurus, their thumbnails are literally like a work of art in and of itself. They collage their thumbnails, they add all this content, these sparkles, these not animations, but like overlay icons, and then these captions and text. However, you don't have to go that far, and I want to make sure that you know that when you're starting out, don't be overwhelmed by all this because YouTube is a long-term thing. It's a 1 to 5 year process, and so take it with baby steps. So if you can work up to a decent level of photo editing skills, even a basic level one day, over a course of 1 to 5 years, you should be good to go. But this is something that's, I think, important to a certain degree. And having said that, there is a variation with thumbnails. So what I have found is that although there are, really good thumbnails out there, there is a certain level of variation from people who, they put in the time to barely get a decent thumbnail out. Like literally, they will just blur the picture behind them and then put some text on there and they're good to go. And I want to give you a few examples of YouTube channels where, just to illustrate, their thumbnails are not exceptionally good. They're better than the average thumbnail for average YouTube content creator who has like 5 subscribers, which is basically no thumbnail. It's the default thumbnail that YouTube selects, which is like a random point in your video. And that's usually like a random thing that doesn't make much sense. So these are 2 channels that are, illustrations of how it's not a necessity to have a exceptionally good thumbnail. So the first one is CP Gray's channel. He has currently 1.7 million subscribers and it's growing rapidly. Just check out his most recent thumbnails. Are they the most magnificent thing in the world? Honestly, not really. Like, they're kind of crappy, and one could argue like you just need some very basic photo editing skills to do something similar. They're pretty crappy thumbnails. And the second is Boogie's channel. I forgot his actual user name is like Boogie7358 or some random string of numbers behind his name. But if you just search Boogie uh, YouTube will autofill the numbers, and then you can just click that and find his channel. And if you check out his channel, his thumbnails are nothing special. It's just him and then like some white text in front of this screen. The point though is even these people, which again they're on the tail end of these, this bell curve of quality in terms of thumbnails, even these people, it's very clear that they put some effort into making a thumbnail rather than just putting up a default thumbnail. And then if you look at most of these million-plus subscriber content creators, most are not like these people. They put more time into their thumbnail. I mean, you don't even have to even think for a moment. A great example would be Tipsy Bartender's channel, Nigahiga's channel, Jenna Marbles, arguably, and so forth. So what's the point I'm trying to make here? Thumbnails are important to your channel. An eye-catching thumbnail will help you get more views, share your content better, and it really just shows that your content is quality content. As a consumer of YouTube videos, if I see someone with crappy thumbnails, it's a little bit of a credibility loss there. Like, even if they have good content, their channel's good, they have a lot of views, if their thumbnails are crappy, like it or not, I just assume that they are not a credible source or they have less credibility. A really good crafted thumbnail, I'm just like, wow. I don't know what it is. It's just the psychology of a viewer or consumer. And despite me understanding like all this stuff, it's just one of those things. When I'm going through my subscription feed, I'm drawn towards a quality thumbnail. And I may click off if the content of the video is crappy, but it's still something that I look for. And at the end of the day, as a viewer and consumer, I would just prefer someone who has everything together, their thumbnail and the content of their video. And I guess the best thing to take away from this is, like many things in life, like the laws of success in life, certain things they're not necessities and they are not all you need to succeed. But increasing the quality of that one trait or one law can help you in terms of your chances of getting success out there. And thumbnails are a great illustration of this. It is not a requirement. You can have, slightly below average thumbnails or just like average thumbnails where it's literally just you and then like a random piece of text in front of you, like how Boogie does it. And Boogie's doing fairly well now. He has 1.5 plus million subscribers. And it's very interesting because he's one of those exceptions to the rule where some of his videos are literally uncut and they have no intro, they have no branding, they have no outro, and his thumbnail is like pretty crappy, although he did put in some effort to make a custom thumbnail. And he's doing fairly well on YouTube. But that's a bit of an exception to the rule. And again, there's other exceptions, believe it or not, if you really watch a lot of videos. For instance, there's a few reaction channels coming out lately. One is Tyrone Magnus, and then there's another man. And they're growing very rapidly, and literally they put no effort into their thumbnails. It's just a default thumbnail, but their videos are just like them reacting to stuff, trailers, other videos on YouTube, and then you see like in the corner the actual video, and then there's them just watching it and reacting to it. And they pump out like 5 videos a day, and their channels are growing very rapidly. And in many ways, they are foregoing a lot of the rules or things that you can do to increase or better the quality of your channel, from lack of an outro to actual quality and production of your videos and so forth. However, these are exceptions to the rule. So the point is that despite these not being necessities, they definitely do help you. And I guess it just goes back to the biggest point. If you take nothing else out from this video, remember this. All of these things sum together in one way or the other. So if you have a crappy thumbnail, that can be made up for with good quality content in your video. But if you have crappy content as well, you're pretty much screwed. CP Gray's a great example. He has 1.7 million subscribers. His thumbnails are not anything incredible. But if you look at his videos, which on average run 4 minutes long, they are very, very well done. Like this man puts in time for his videos. There's graphics, there's captions, there's good information, there's good content, and it's very well done. And in those 4 minutes, he probably spent like at least 20 hours editing those videos in. So again, that's all I gotta say. And I think people do confuse content as well. They assume, okay, good content for a YouTube video means good production and good this and good that. And that's not necessarily the case at all. I mean, sometimes if it's too highly polished on YouTube, people don't like that because it's not personable, it's not one-on-one, it's not engaging, and it's not authentic. They can't relate to you and so forth. So it's kind of different from how TV or movie works. At the same time though, good content means, generally speaking, you actually deliver some level of value. You actually deliver some level of entertainment, or you deliver some level of information immediately and succinctly. So those are the big three, and take from it what you will. So long story short, work on your thumbnails, learn how to get some basic photo editing skills, if not more than basic, and then 3, make sure at the same time you don't use thumbnails as some type of crutch, so that the rest of your video and the rest of your content isn't subpar. That's all I gotta say. As always, leave it a like, hit the subscribe button if you like this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or requests for future videos, and I will see you hopefully in my next video. Peace.